Yeah. What's up, guys? It's been a while. It's been a while. School started, and then I was dealing with a ton of stuff, taking a lot of calls and whatnot. But we're back. We're gonna be, I think, just doing some live sleuthing today. Probably just chilling and hanging out. But like get rid of echo there. But yeah, I'm probably just gonna show you guys like my process for Arkham and stuff. Maybe try out some new shit. A couple of my friends are building some cool stuff, so I wanted to maybe dig into that. But I think we're gonna start out with like some base coins, see what we can find among the top coins. I know like Tibia and stuff from perhaps Rivet Capital is an interesting case study. But then even so, I wanted to show you guys Polymarket sleuthing because that's all on chain as well. So you can get an edge by sleuthing over here, especially if you look at the top wallets. But let's start with the base coins. So I have Arkham over here. Just intelligence.arkham. Make sure you're not on the exchange. So that's going to be open. And then here I'm just going to open this for a bit. And let's see what's like top. So like this machine's thing ran overnight, right? We can go top volume. We're going to go to this machine. It's going to open this. What are some other like coins that ran super hard? Let's do Tibia. I think that would be an interesting one. I've looked into this a bit. There's a lot of freshies here that could be interesting. So my normal process here is like normally this top traders tab is pretty broken. Like a lot of these are going to be MEV, so they don't actually show up right. Normally I go to the top holders and like see their average entry, but for this I'll probably just open base scan. So I'm going to go down here to Explorer. We're going to go here. We're going to go top holders, and then I'll pretty much just go one by one. So a lot of these are going to be centralized exchanges with the coin this big. But we can like just start looking into them, see if they're normal. This looks like a dev wallet. So wait, actually, let's see here. Yeah, it's a wrapper. Okay, unwrap token. And then we'll go look at this third top holder. Okay, so this is someone, right? So they got all transfers in. You can see this isn't swaps, so they were sent supply by someone who aged pretty early. So I'm gonna look into this one. Go here. Go over to our beautiful Arkham. Just Control V. And so my Arkham thing, dude, this does up $10 million on this thing. So my Arkham processes is you can use the tracer. So you can go over here and trace the address, and then this is a good way to visualize stuff. Okay, well I have to log in apparently. So I'm not gonna do that right now. But normally I just go top counterparties. Top counterparties, all this will show you the top betweens of both wallets. You can see use as a deposit address. Not many people know, but deposit addresses are gonna be unique to you. So anytime you use a deposit address, it's only going to be yours, right? So you have to create new deposit addresses to like have a clean trail. So this guy's original is 0x95. You can see that here. We'll just go and label this top Tibia for easy. Oh, I'm not logged in. Okay, whatever. So OX95, this is the wallet we were just looking at, but then we can also see that he has OXE1, OX2C, and OX97 going back all the way 3 years to an Uphold hot wallet. So these are all his wallets. So you can look here. And then from here, we're just going to go one by one, pretty much. It takes a bit, but that's okay. And then we had another deposit. So this one has an end. So anytime you see an ends, normally pretty good signal that you can find out who they are, right? Because most ends are not fresh wallets. I don't know many people that make an ends for a fresh wallet. They're only going to use once or twice. But anytime also on Arkham, good aside, anytime you see this little purple thing, it's their AI algorithm that like connects things. So Arkham uses a database with like all the FranTech wallets, all the SocialFi wallets. If you sign up for the Arkham airdrop and connected your Twitter, your socials are all going to be connected there. So a lot of times the AI will like, if you're one hop away from a doxed address that was doxed via like some SocialFi or some Twitter connection, it's going to come up as this person's wallet because you were interacting with it, right? And so that's what this AI algorithm is doing. It's going to guess that that's your wallet. And so let me make sure all these. So I'm gonna open this one too because it already has like a purple thing, right? And then we'll see. It seems to be this Jesse man in person. We'll see if he has any connections with the stuff I was already looking at. Not seeing too much. Not recognizing any of these, but we'll see. I should log into. Sorry, I'm on a new PC actually, so I'm not logged in. But I think my Gmail is my docs, so I'm probably not going to log in right now. So this Invencar, this is interesting as well. I'm just going to look through these real quick. see what I can find. Secret funds, MPB spam. Let's see. Oftentimes I'll search up everything on Twitter as well. So like any ends or anything you want to search up on Twitter, just because that's how normally you want to do things. So invent card did not show up. Let's see without the ends. We can also search it up here. Nothing here. Sometimes I'll do X people. Okay, nothing. So nothing was there. So this is pretty much a dead end, although he has some different ends as well. And then often there will be an OpenSea user, so you want to look and like see if he used OpenSea, because a lot of people have their Twitters connected, their old OpenSeas, but I'm not seeing much here. So I'm gonna ignore this one. I mean, he has some deposits we can come back to, but I'd rather just go straight from the source, which is the OX95, right? So we're gonna keep here. He has another one right here. This is the Jesse Mannon, right? No, gas.zip. That's a seeding. So I click we got this from the Binance deposit, remember? And I click that, but like he has some other stuff too. Like he sent to Roxy. You can open this as well. Normally this is what I would call a cold connect because it's only one way. So you can pay people money, right? And like this will show up as like, oh, that's their wallet, but you could have just paid them like 13K. And you know, like then people would think it's your wallet. So what I really want to look for is like in and outbounds. So like anything that's sending in and sending out is usually a better connection, right? So like anything like this where he's just sending money, I mean, like he's sending his ENA, which is cool, but that's not giving me too much info. So I'm gonna look for like the higher transaction rates, like Piboka. Okay, he's just sending this person ENA. Interesting. Again, all outbound, all outbound. Deposits are fine if they're outbound, obviously, because that's different. But sending size here, a lot of ENA here, which is actually quite fascinating. Goldman Sachs on Polymarket. So if you see this tag too, then you can look them up on Polymarket. Where's my Polymarket tab? Go to profiles here. Okay, maybe I need the Polymarket data. Oh, wait, I have Sharp Terminal. Yeah, so my friend is building this. It's in silico for Polymarket terminals, which is what I've been using to trade Polymarkets. I don't have any money on this because I'm using a fresh wallet, obviously. So you guys cannot track me, but you can normally do slash profile, I believe. I forget what the address is. We'll come back to that. But I'm schizo right now. Okay. Okay, so this is another deposit address he used that was connected to the Binance deposit from the original OX95 here. You can see it here, OX95, OXE197, that's where we went. We got to OXE197, now we're here, and now it's connected to another Arkham thing. We're just trying to see any matches. That last Twitter didn't look like it was really anything too of note, I'd say. I can look at his Twitter real quick. Yeah, so this is what I would call a bot account. This is something someone used to connect to Arkham to get the airdrop, but isn't their actual account. You know, I have a lot of these too, where I use them to like connect to SocialFi stuff that could potentially dox my address. And so if people find it, it's like whatever. I just enter giveaways and stuff. So I wouldn't give this any credit, honestly. The Roxy part is interesting though. If this is the Roxy I'm thinking of. Nope. Again, another. So this is like this person that's like a bot farm. It almost looks like, but. This thread looks interesting. Cole Capital. Who is Cole Capital? Okay, so this is an Arkham verified entity, which is pretty interesting. It means he signed up for Arkham and basically claimed this name. It appears to be a fund. So then we can look up this fund name, which would make sense if. Not going to click on a link then. Matt Cole. Who is Matt Cole? Ethereum, maybe him. I doubt he's on Tibia though. Is this dude chilling Tibia, bro? Tell me this dude's chilling Tibia, please, 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 please. You know what? What's his at? using the X advanced search right now. Nothing from him. Probably a dead end. Okay, so we're gonna come back here. This OX2C pair swap, more Binance deposits, which is always good. This looks like a mixer, and I can tell this looks like a mixer just because of the sheer amount, right? This doesn't really look human. This is like at least 20 plus Binance deposits, which frankly I'm not too interested in. You can go over to the exchange usage tab and look into more of some of that here. Not too interested in that. We're gonna go back here to his original Binance deposit. Last one's OX97A, and then we can come back to OX1E8 and then just not use the whole capital one. But he has some connections here too. So he was funded by like millions of dollars worth of ETH here, or at least 1.19 mil 5 years ago, which is pretty interesting from F2 pool. Pretty interesting. Again, is this Cold Capital again? Interesting. Okay. So it looks like this person actually might be Cold Capital, which is really interesting. I don't exactly know who that is. But this would probably be a good one to tag as the top Tibia holder. Because again, we started back with the OX95, I believe. As you can see, this gets pretty convoluted pretty quickly, but you have to have your wits about you. So we started here. We went to the Binance deposits, and we traced it back to Cold Capital, which is pretty interesting. At least like 5 years ago, these are pretty dead. But that would make a lot of sense if this is someone that could actually be looked into. Interesting. Maybe an NYC guy worth tracking. So X95. Although we can also look at the first funders, because anytime you seed a wallet, if you're the very first transaction that funds it, normally that's like the person, right? Like if you're creating a new wallet and you want to fund it, you're going to fund it. So this was actually funded by Tibia. We saw that earlier. OXE1, OXE57. Let me clear out the rest of my tabs here for a second. Let me spam my clicker. So which one was the base? So these all funded him with Tibia. So this was actually a middleman wallet, which is really interesting. Came from the same wallet. So he used two wallets, but are the same wallet. You can see here this OXE57 actually sent to the OXE1, and then they all sent it to OX956. So this is probably a pretty good thread. And then we can see he actually bought his Tibia 2 months ago. And we could look at like GMGN to see his cost basis. In fact, we can do that right now, I think. I gotta log in, I swear, man. I hate fucking logging in. The shit. Go away. No, not Sol Base, please. No, see, I want. Okay, I gotta log in to see his address. Are you kidding me? Okay, that's gonna actually make me. So he was staking it, which is really interesting. But actually, I want to go back. We can go top counterparties again. All. We can use Socket Exchange, another Binance deposit. I'll open that. Anytime you see like a socket or an across protocol, those are bridges that aren't docs, but oftentimes people use them as mixers without knowing. Let me pull up my bridge thing. I gotta find it. I'm on a different PC right now. Actually, we can just go to the Socket Explorer. So all of these bridges have their own explorers that you can use, and then you can just basically type in a wallet usually, and it'll give you the transaction hashes. This one is cucking me apparently, so that's cool. But we can try cross protocol. Okay, maybe this one doesn't have an explorer. That's important. On my other PC, I have a vibe coded thing that pulls all the transactions, but we'll see. We'll see if we can do without it, you know? Again, lots of ETH being funded here, which is just really interesting from like a base aper. Obviously, he's up 10 mil on Tibia, so you'd hope he's rich, but this is one of those wallets that I would track personally. So he sent OX956, we already doxed that. OXD5, he also sent Tibia over there. Okay, some more. I'm gonna look at anything inbound here. And then, so he's funded by this. And interesting. This is going to be cool, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So now we're back to where we started, right? So we looked through the OX956. We went all the way back to the first funders, did that to the first funder, and then we're back at Cole Capital from 5 years ago. So this is something I would track, you know, use define, use whatever you want. I would label the top Tibia as Cole Capital. What's interesting is also the BC2C for like OTC. And then he uses Kraken, which is actually really interesting. So we can maybe guess he's American. Obviously, you don't have to be American to use Kraken, but I don't know, you know, many people who aren't American that use Kraken. Let's just say that they'd rather use Binance or whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, like once you have a deposit address, you can pretty much just go through them all one by one and say, you know, hey, who is this person? I'm not going to follow this trail too long because I don't want to bore you guys. I would probably look deeper onto like doing some actual like LinkedIn sleuthing on who Cole Capital might be. I could look into the LLC domain registrations and stuff, and then try and find out that way. But for right now, I would just label that wallet as Cole Capital, which is pretty cool, right? So probably probably someone who doesn't ape too often. We looked at all his wallet address. I didn't notice anything like him aping a ton of coins, right? So that's usually a pretty good signal. It's something when you don't have a lot of noise. That you can just like track and just pretty much wait for him to ape something, which is always nice. I'll have more tools ready for you guys next stream. This was a little bit more impromptu, so I'm not logged into everything. But this machines one was pumped into. We could maybe look at that, but it's a pretty low cap. I don't want to do anything wrong or piss anybody off. So that was OX95, and you could label this if you were logged into BaseScan. You could also label it as Cole Capital right here, and it would show up as that on this. So we can look at this OXE3. That might have been one we were already looking at, honestly, but obviously with strings of wallets, it gets a little bit tougher. Again, more transfers and unwrapping. This is probably a staking. So the unwrap is probably a staking contract. We saw the staking earlier on the OX956. So we'll look at the second top holder. That's not an entity. Sorry, let me close all these tabs. I know that gets annoying. Okay. So this person's aping a lot of virtual stuff. First off, he holds a lot of virtual stuff. Ethi, Squid Degen, Micro. These are all virtual agents tokens. I've actually found this guy before. He's pretty hard. But so we got via osmosis here. So like immediately, always I go to top counterparties. This basically just congregates everything in BaseScan or any EVM. So Arkham does Tron. It does Base. It does BNB. It does Solana, even if you have Solana addresses. Obviously, that's not going to show up with the EVM stuff, but it'll track him cross-chain, and you can see the chains here. He's just on Base for this one. So I'm going to look at this first. Like, he was sent 10.10K in Pollo token, Spanish for chicken, which is interesting, but I actually wouldn't give this too much credit. Like, this might be like a Farcaster tipping thing, so I wouldn't actually call this that, oops. I wouldn't actually call it that this is his, but no, I don't want that open. Yeah, so this is like interesting. Looks like it's a new transfer from, yeah, so it's just a transfer. Maybe an airdrop for how many other virtuals he holds. So in this case, I wouldn't say that this is him, like quite honestly. I'm more curious about this one, but that also says that it's via osmosis, so that's pretty funny. So it might actually be him. Yeah, so this is something I'd be looking for, right? Like he's sending out a ton of money in a ton of different coins to this address, but he's also receiving a ton of different money with a ton of different coins in this address. You can see ADM, go all the way back. It's, you know, going back 10 months, a year. He actually sent Pollo originally, so that's interesting. So this second top wallet is probably this guy. Shout out to him. Good fucking trade. What a Chad. Give him a follow. He's been chilling it. What a goat, honestly. So that's like a good example of how you can just use Arkham to get more info about who you're tracking. And not anything wrong with that. Like I don't find this wrong. Obviously he's connected here, so maybe he wants to be seen, and what a Chad to him if so. But yeah, I mean like that's a good example with just Tibia, and now I'm gonna use Polymarket. Polymarket's a little different. So anytime you log in and sign up, you basically create a safe address on Polygon. And then you interact with that safe address with your actual address. So you have to fund the safe address, the smart wallet, if you will, with your original address. So I'll show you how that looks like. Let me go to Top Traders leaderboard. Let's just go monthly. Okay, so this dude, does he have a Twitter connected? No. Okay, perfect. This is perfect. Let me see. Where do I find his wallet again? Let's go to a bed scan. Okay, that is not him. Go back. Probably this. So the originator of that signer wasn't actually going to be him. It was going to be Polymarket, but this looks like it's him. I can actually grab the address here. Unfortunately. Oh, here we go. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to enter this into Arkham the same way. You can see that it's a proxy wallet, like I was saying. So this isn't actually, this is basically controlled by him. He's got 2 million USDC in here. Crazy. So then but it still works the same, right? So top counterparty wallets. He's got more Polymarket wallets, which is pretty interesting. He's got a relay. So another thing, this is a bridge, right? But bridges like this are centralized. Yeah. Here we go. So with relay, it's actually pretty easy. I'll see. Okay, so this is a perfect example of what I was talking about. I have a vibe-coded website by a Chad, shout out to who, but I can basically do all this by just entering an address and it'll pull from all the explorers. But like anytime you see a specific one, and that's what's nice about Polymarket is it will label them. It doesn't normally label them on other scans unless you have it labeled. So I can see here that he sent in 125K of USDC via relay. This could be from the same, most likely this is from a different wallet, right? Because he doesn't actually have this proxy wallet on any other chains. It's only going to be on Polygon. So he probably bridged in ETH from a different chain, used relay to quote unquote mix it, but it actually doesn't mix it. So we can see here, sender address here. Receiver address is obviously, let's pull up one of these. Let's just do this one. This is only 99 USDC. Hell no. Hell no. Let's do 5,000. So sent from him, OX36. That's who we were just looking at. Recipient is over here. Okay, yeah, see, this is nice because now we're not on Polygon anymore. No offense, but Polygon just fucking sucks. So we can see a bit of Binance. We can see some other addresses here. So then obviously, what are we going to do? We're going to go back to Arkham. Just duplicate this tab here. We're going to go back to Arkham, load this bad boy up. And now we have a better linkage, right? And you can see here, this was the relay that he got in. I could relay it again because he's like doing other stuff. But mostly I'm interested in this first funder. And then this OXCC, which is his top counterparty. You can see here again. Boom, BNB and ETH. So this is another mixer, and I can tell that instantly just by the amount of chains and the amount of transactions. This isn't human, right? Across all these chains, looks like it's maybe connected to Otis, maybe probably like a fixed now or a fixed float or something like that. So I'm gonna ignore this for all intensive purposes. But this one, the one he funded it with, this one it looks to be him, right? And so now we're gonna go over here. Mimic.fi, that's another one. But we have a deposit address, which is good. Celsius, RIP. I'm going to open all these deposit addresses like normal. But I'm going to see what this one is, 120 between them. Open this one too, because he's got a lot of interplay. What's this one? 10K USDC. Okay, Epic Protocol, no. We're going to go back up here, grab this other one. These are some deposits too. I'd look into those. His disperses are interesting. Okay, so maybe he's like a seed investor. This looks like, your classic forays if you did a pre-sale. Mimic.fi is another one I could look up, like relay. But we'll see what we can do right this first. This is only one trail, so this was his first funder, if you remember back here. And he's got even more stuff on here. He's got some AVAX shit. Normally I'd be searching all the wallets on Twitter, but with stuff like this, you're probably not going to find anything with these intermediary wallets because there's not too much like actual activity. It's mostly just sends and receives. And so, but sometimes you can dox people with like some airdrops and whatnot. But I'm going to open all of these. Let's do this here. That was just the one we were looking at. I'm a dumbass. Okay, this is a different one. Gas.zip again. OKX Dex router is really interesting. We got another Binance deposit, which is good. We can look into all this later, like I said. We got a Gate deposit. CoinW Exchange. Interesting. Also interesting. No sends though, which I don't love. Looking for anything that has a name. Okay, no. We'll just have to do the deposit way, I guess. This was the AVAX wallet from him. Go to first funder. JG, no. Gas token, got it from here. More deposits. So normally if I was logged in, I'd be using Tracer at this point just because it's getting really convoluted, and that'll just make the mental maps that you can see it easier to like track stuff across entities, which is nice, but oops, which is nice, but I don't have that luxury right now, which is okay, I'm autistic enough to do this. Early fallow holder, pretty interesting. Looks like more pre-sale stuff. More deposits, right? This is interesting though. No. No. Okay. I'm just gonna eliminate all these for now. I'll come back to them if I need the deposit addresses. The one we were looking at over here is OX5C, keep that in mind. So I don't wanna click on OX5C again. OXB7 is different. OX3D is different. OX82 is different. There's 25 pages of this, so we could be here a while. Honestly, I probably don't want to spend too much time on this. I've kind of shown the concept of what you can do to look for Polymarket stuff. Now I'm basically doing the same thing I was doing with Tibia, right? So I started with this freaking proxy wallet for one of the top traders of the month. This guy, cool, made $2 million a month on what did he make his money on? Did he make any big boy bets? Looks like he made his money on League of Legends and sports. What a degenerate. Love it. Biggest win was 600K. But like, so you just copy this address and place it in here, man. And you can go to the top counterparty. It's just like you would a normal wallet. You know, you look for first funders. I'll find one that isn't a bridge, but like anytime you see a centralized bridge like this, you should go, you know, look like, okay, do they have an Explorer? You know, you go to their website, transactions, boom, now you're at the Explorer, and then you can see all the bridges. So let's take an example of a Polymarket one. Let's see if I can actually like find one that's not a bridge though. No, the all's interesting because it's all like Trump insiders, but I can do that another stream. That'd be a good stream, honestly. As I spent like 4 hours trying to map all that out. Pretty damn interesting. We'll just go the second one, I guess. I believe that is Chinese, but we'll see here. Now we're back here. I'm gonna delete all these again just to clean up my workspace. That was the Tibia Chad. We're back here. Again, relay, man. Why is everybody using a damn centralized bridge to get in here? Signer's interesting though. Well, no, Signer would just be Polymarket. Excuse me. Okay. Books17, sender recipient. We're gonna open this. These are all funded by this guy, it looks like. Yeah, we can see OX. Okay. So I want this address, and I want this address. Arbitrum. This was also funded by. Where did this dude go, right? Let's just type this in. Okay, so he was funded in from that Polymarket account. We just saw that. He sent all his money over here. Looks like he was on Hyperliquid a bit, which is pretty interesting. If I wanted to, I could go see for a second if go to Hyperscan. You can kind of see sometimes there. If you see they use Hyperliquid, you can type in this address and see if they have a ref link. So he's using refer code, which is pretty interesting. But if he had his own, that'd be pretty interesting. MLM is way better at the Hyperliquid stuff than me, so shout out to him. You should go follow him. But that's another good way of doxing them. You know, you could look up, see whose ref link this is. Maybe, you know, maybe it's someone you should pay attention to. Could be the same person, could not be. Obviously, anyone can use a ref link, so I don't assign much value to that. But more interested in his receiving of funds, sending out again, sending 800K over here. Okay, he's using Hyperliquid again. Bro's a gambler, just like me. And now we have deposit addresses. So now we're back to square one. We're going to open all the deposit address, go to top counterparties, you know. And you're basically going to just repeat this process until you find a linkage. You know, you're either searching wallet addresses on Twitter, you know, trying to find the wallet addresses if someone effed up. You can use, like, I like OX people a lot. Sometimes people have their wallets connected here. You should search your wallets into Google too. You never know what comes up. So OX people is a good tool too. I'm just not logged in on this computer. But like, it's a good social graph for wallets. That's good. So I would definitely recommend using that. But again, we're just back here. So that was a little bit different. And this is pretty much all I do. So we can see here, okay, we got an entity maybe. Who are you? Okay, he's Chinese. That would, align with this. But what do you say? Yeah, my offer is not working. Perfect. That's pretty interesting. So this could be him. If he is, shout out to you, sir. You're a good gambler. I respect it a lot. But like, that's just something you can follow. I saw the deposit had this attached to it. You can also see he was trading on EdgeX, it looks like. You can look at all the other deposits as well. We're back here. This is where we came from. So that's a good way to look into Polymarket traders. And you could do this even with singular trades, right? Like if you're looking at a trending market, especially now, and you want to look for insider, like New York mayoral city election, you can look at like the odds and see if there were any big like trades or whatever. And that's a good way of like looking into, oh, someone just bought huge. Okay, I'm gonna look into this wallet. Let's see who funded it. Let's go into that, blah, blah, blah. Terminals are really good for this. We're gonna eliminate that, thank you. Terminals are really good for this, so using my friends that he's building, go follow Perp Terminal. But he has this, which is a live trade section, which I like using for like doxing stuff. Obviously, I'm on a fresh account, so my script isn't ready, but we're gonna go here. Sorry, my computer's slow, but like I can see all of the trades that are happening live. So I can even sort by like size up here, but minimum trade value. So like I'd set that to probably like 5K, which is obviously can move a market a ton on Polymarket. Because I'm not interested in any of these. Like no insider is gonna be chugging $10 at shit. But this is a good way because then I can just look into these people, look into their wallets and do the same thing over and over again. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for like the Arkham stuff. I mean, there's tons more stuff we can do and look into. Curious though, curious. Gonna ask my boys, what is the chat saying? What is the chat saying? Min or Miguel, what is the chat saying, Riz? Does anyone want to see something specific that I could show them? I don't know. I can actually see comments. Here I am. Okay, perfect. That's fine. Dudes, comment. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to see me try and look into a coin, you can comment it below the stream actually, under here, and I will look into it for you, see what I can find. I just like wanted to show some examples first, but it would be cooler to get specifics from you guys. Like, what do you want to see? What do you want to see? Come comment on my account. Well, someone's gonna comment something absolutely retarded. I just know it. I'm gonna be offended, and I'm not gonna be able to look into that. But you can go Twitter first. Well, like the good thing about Arkham is if you want to see somebody wallet, like, hey Siger, no offense, brother, but I'm just gonna go over here, take your @ plug it in here. You had a FranTech account, and well, this is actually Solana, so it works for Solana too. So I can show you Solana. That's pretty cool. Same exact shit, man. Look for deposits. Deposits are labeled on Arkham, which is amazing, right? Solana works the exact same. Now I'm gonna look. Oh, and a lot of interplay in between here. This is probably him as well. Yeah, it is. And now we can go back here. Okay, boom. Okay, another Coinbase deposit. Okay, we can look into all this. Now we have all his Sol wallets. I like to track people like this more so because it gives me better informed decisions on like who's buying. I think we've seen with a lot of Hyperliquid stuff that a lot of people are just rich degenerates. They don't actually know anything. And I'm more interested in tracking the people that know something. And I set up my Telegram as in like folders. Maybe I'm like gonna go through every single VC. Like for instance, Delphi Digital. Okay, cool. I'll go to the account. Affiliates. Sorry guys. We're gonna go through everyone here, track all their wallets, make a folder on Telegram with the find bot, and be like, I'm actually not following anybody. This is my mistake. I'm sorry. I apologize, Yusuf and Nashwath. That's my bad. But yeah, I'm just gonna go through everyone here, make a folder that sells Delphi Digital wallets on Telegram, and then try and find everyone's wallets. You can even do it with NFTs. Like, Piers has an NFT here. He's got a punk. You can look up this punk by its trait, look at the wallet that's holding this punk, and then you have it. Or like you can go back in the day. Maybe he has a different collection. Let's see here. Come on, Piers. Don't let me down. Don't let me down. Is this yours? No. I go back to NFT days. Glorious NFT days. I had PTSD from the Twitter spaces and the NFT days. Here, so you tweet too much media, bro. Looks like a RuneScape player. Okay, so he didn't post any NFTs. But if you post an NFT, I could just go to OpenSea. You know, like a lot of people have Milady PFPs. You can just go to OpenSea or Blur. Any NFT terminal works. And like a lot of people have hypers right now. Like everyone who has a hyper is doxing their wallet unless they copy and pasted it. And I don't think a lot of people like realize that, but like you can just go here and like if someone has a hyper on, right? Like you can pretty much pull their wallet quite freaking easily just because you can look at the trait of the hyper. Does anybody have a hyper on my timeline? Okay, interesting. My timeline is degenerate. That's unfortunate. But so like anytime you see, you know, cyberkongs, okay, this is actually an SMB or an 8-bit monkey. Probably look into that if you wanted to hold these. These are just examples of some pretty low-hanging fruit, right? Like anything you see here, you should just be typing in ats. You could probably type in my at, find my fucking wallets. I don't know. Like maybe my OPSEC isn't the greatest now. Maybe I've fallen off, you know? As far as other stuff, what else could we do? Honestly, I just want to experiment with just having me on stream and then like doing some sleuthing and stuff. But we can see what other coins have been pumping and maybe look into those. Tibia's a good one, I guess. What else has done well? Most of the stuff that's done well is on base. I guess BSC could be an interesting one because it's a little bit more cabal-y. Like we could look into 4, I guess, right? I mean, it's just an EVM. You're gonna run into the same thing. Oh, like stuff like this that's like listed everywhere on centralized exchanges is gonna be like kind of sucky because all of these guys are like gonna be centralized exchanges pretty much. So it gets a little convoluted, but like I'll just scroll down to one of these top holders. Man, not many people have $1 million worth of that coin. That's pretty interesting, actually. They probably sold already, but this guy was twopping the hell out of it. Oh, he's twopping out. Looks like interesting. Maybe this guy was up a ton. Let's look into him. So BSC pretty much works the same way. As you can see here, it's pretty much just an RPA process. So immediately he's got an end. Where is my Twitter? Hello. Okay, so this dude's got a ton of bot accounts, it looks like. Nah, it's not him. But like you can see here, this is always pretty interesting when I type in an ends, like people trying to claim that it's theirs, like a bunch of bot accounts. You'll see this actually a lot with like 4-letter enses and numbers and stuff. You'll see a lot of bot accounts, but PNL.eth is grand. Shout out to them. But so probably a grand crew if you look into it. Maybe 4 Vayne.eth or the mirror holder. You can see here that like it was funded by DeBridge, right? And so like DeBridge is another one that everyone thinks like even cross chain. DeBridge does not mix, guys. Like I hate to tell you this. Maybe I shouldn't have told you this for my own sake, but it's got this thing called the D Explorer, and like I can just search in anybody, or not. No, I didn't want to type in the ends. Gosh, fucking damn it! Oh, it worked. Wow, amazing. Thank you, DeBridge. But I'm gonna type in the normal address. Goodness gracious. Okay, so here, like I can see BNB, AVAX. You can even do cross Sol. Like, you know, if someone bridged ETH to Sol, I'm sorry, now I have your ETH address and your Sol address, or vice versa. Like, you're not hiding, so now I know Vayne.eth's Sol address, right? Like, I can just go here. Okay, he bridged from 8,000 USD from Vayne.eth to this receiving address. Pull up Sol scan. Cool. Now I'm here. Okay, user privacy cache pool. Interesting. But you see the idea, right? Like these explorers are really powerful, especially for bridges, and you should be using them. Absolutely. You can also see, like, again, this was a Sol to base. You can see the maker here. Okay, interesting. So now we're somewhere, right? This is Vayne.eth. Okay, I'm not gonna show that SNN's domain. It's funny. Anyways, we're just gonna skip past that, I guess. But funny domain, dude. Yeah, so email.e, probably him. Now we have some interplay in between the two. But you can see it works for BSC. Usually proxies like this are a swap. So with some of the more obscure chains like BSC, a lot of like the swapping isn't like called something on Arkham. So it'll just be a proxy, but like you can always just like open the actual transaction, right? Sent BNB, received the coin. Okay, so this is a swap address. And then like if you're signed in, you can go to this proxy EIP so you don't get like messed up later and be like, okay, probably a 4.meme swap proxy or something like that, right? And so like eventually you build your repertoire on Arkham and then you do the same like with all your on-chain accounts, and that's the best way to do it. But yeah, so that's BSC. I guess we can do Solana too, if that interests people. Oh, we got a comment from Tim. Giza, KTA, and Guy all have a relationship as well as rumored. Yeah, so this is actually a good comment. So this is something I'll show you guys that my friend Glug taught me back in the day. Let's see here. I don't know if I should sign into Google Sheet, but it might dox me. But let's see if I have Excel on my computer. Okay. Excel is cucking me. Excel is cucking me. Anyways, what you can do actually with this kind of stuff is like if you have three ones you want to check cross, right? You'll just go to Dex Screener, or other scan too, but I just use Dex Screener to get to the scans, right? And so like one of them was KTA, right? Sakita. Okay, I'll open that and then I'll do this, right? And then the other was Giza. Fuck, I didn't mean to do that. Gosh, such a klutz. Ignore this Atlas coin. This is just what's coming up on my computer apparently. So Guy, GAI, gay, GraphAI, cool. Look here. And the last one is Giza, I believe, so which I know. So what you can do here is you can just take advantage of Excel, which is pretty nice. And then like if you want to see if there's more of a relationship between the holders of the coin, you can just download the exports of the holders. And then basically just you're gonna go and open them all, the holder addresses in the same freaking thing. So I'm gonna download the CSV export, right? May take a few moments. So export holders for contract v4. That was for graph. Okay, I'm gonna finish with this Tim one first. Anyways, so I'm here downloading for Giza now. So I'm just gonna download all the holders addresses, right? The last one is for Kita. I have Giza and GraphAI. I'm not a robot, please, please, thank you. Thank you very much. Why are you doing this to me? Okay, well now Excel's working, that's pretty cool. So what you, okay, well, I don't have a 365 subscription on this freaking computer, and I'm not gonna open Google Sheets right now. Basically what you'll do is you'll paste all the holders addresses in a column side by side via the Excel. It just comes out as a CSV, so it's pretty easy to copy paste. You'll put all three columns side by side of the holders, and you'll do, then you'll go up and you'll sort the data, and then you'll say highlight duplicate values. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna highlight the same wallet addresses that hold the token across 2 or more, right? So like if a person holds both Giza, if a wallet holds both Giza and Kita, it'll show up as a highlight on the Excel sheet. And then one by one, guess what you're gonna do? You go over to Arkham or whatever Explorer you fancy. I'd use Arkham because it's cross-chain, right? And then you're gonna search up the wallets one by one. Who is this person? Why do they hold both Kita and Giza? Or why do they hold both GraphAI and Kita? Or why do they hold both GraphAI and Giza? And then like, that's the best way you're gonna go about it. So to answer your question, I don't, I don't want to spend too much time like going through all the holders between the two, but you can on your own and see if there's a connection between the three. I'm not gonna say whether there is or not. I can't tell you. But okay, I got some more comments, I believe. Should sleuth the Canton network. What's going on over there? Goodness. Isn't that like freaking private blockchain? He's leading me to the only public blockchain that with privacy that works. Great. Okay. Sick. Where's your explorer? I've heard of Canton. I just haven't looked into the tech, quite honestly. If it's all private, then I'm pretty cucked, honestly, to be honest with you. Unless I'm gonna do like time analysis matching and whatnot, which I'm not gonna do on stream. That takes way too long. Then my friend said I had more comments. Which account was that on? Is it on mine or the Delphi's? Guess we can find out. Guess we can find out. Guess we can find out. Not on mine. Actually, let me follow this dude because he's nice. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. Well, it's fucking me. Let's go. Oh, Ginkino. Oh, interesting. Perfect. Thank you. I have a professional in my ear, guys. He's telling me what to do because I'm just like stupid. When we need you sleuthing Canton. Okay, guys, like, show me where the Canton Explorer is, you freaking. Oh, you're good. Canton scan. Let's hope. Let's hope this is what it is. Hello. Hello. Is this right, guys? Is this right? Is this right, Tempest? Tell me. Great. This looks like freaking sweet. I hate the Sweet Explorer so much. For shit like this, I'm not gonna be that good with you, frankly, because like I don't want to pull all this. I'd probably just ask ChatGPT on the side here. Like, I have it on Opera, and then I'll input like the actual raw JSON, like this shit, and I'll ask it what it means. Beyond that, though, like, do they have an official Explorer up? Do they have an? What are good signs you look for in new launches if you haven't talked about that already? It's a good question, man. Like, it depends, like, whether you know about it pre-launch or post-launch. Like, a lot of like stuff, like, let's say, like, oftentimes if you track follows, which I do, and you can use a lot of tools for this, like Twitter to Telegram or something like that. How about sleuthing chains? Like, sorry, I'm so autistic. I just went off. Anyways, you can track Twitters and stuff. So like, oftentimes you can know of a launch coming before it happens, just because people are following a Twitter from a VC or something, and then you might want to like look into that. And then, you know, there's a lot of ways to do that. You can like have a tool that tracks the name of the contract or like the name of the ticker, and then like track all deploys with that ticker. That can work really well. Or like, let's say if a coin has launched, I'm just gonna look into all the top wallets, right? And so like, this happened when Venice.ai launched VVV from like, I believe it was Voorhees, not Voorhees. Might have been him, Eric, whatever his name was. When VVV launched on Base, I immediately looked at all the top holders, and like all the top holders were basically the founder himself, you know, funding fresh wallets that hadn't sold yet, or like Aerodrome. There was an Aerodrome employee who's since been fired, thankfully. You know, I like Aerodrome, cool. But anyways, that like sniped the launch, and I was like, okay, you know, why is an Aerodrome employee sniping this launch? Probably alpha, right? Like, I doubt they would be sniping a launch they thought is shit. So honestly, I'm just gonna go off like who owns the coin, right? Like, who's top holder? You know, are they good people? Are they bad people? Do I recognize them? Do they have motion? You know, can they do stuff? And oftentimes you can find some pretty interesting things. Like, there was a Trump coin back in the day called like "Make America Great Again," and the top holder was like a dude who was like connected to Eric Trump and got him on Spaces, but you could have found like who he was before he got Eric Trump on Spaces, and like that made a good trade, right? And so like, it's just about finding as much info asymmetry as you can via sleuthing for holders. And if you get pretty good at sleuthing, I mean, like, you can go through Arkham pretty damn quick and find a trace pretty freaking quickly. So always ape first and do your research later, right? Like, that's my professional advice, obviously. And then how about sleuthing coins like Monad that's about to launch this recent deploys? So Monad is an EVM, I believe. First of all, or at least an EVM fork. But anything like that, I mean, like I just said, I would pull up. There's gonna be tools made. You can vibe code tools now with like every foundation has like a developer ecosystem where you can get APIs and stuff for like the explorers, and that's a good way of just like scraping deploys. For new chains, honestly, the best thing to do is scrape deploys. Quite honestly, like I did that. You know, we had some kids that did that on Blast when that first launched, and that was really lucrative because you could just kind of, there weren't like that many deploys, and so like if you just saw a good ticker and like it locked liquidity, you could probably ape it and do pretty well on a new chain. But obviously, markets are getting more efficient, so like with newer chains, it's really hard. It depends on the tools. Like most chains now are launching with, they already have their own version of Pump Fund. They already have all the bots integrated. They already have like hundreds of launch pads and tons of DeFi. And so anything like that, if it's EVM, right? Like if you can just switch your MetaMask or Rabi network to Monad, you can use Arkham, right? Like it's not going to show Monad on here, but if they've used their wallet on other chains, it's going to show, right? And so that's the way I would go about sleuthing new chains. Quite honestly, it's just pretty much the same way, especially if they're EVM. But with private chains like Canton and stuff, I'd have to look into like their official explorers. To be quite honest, I'm nowhere near like the level of Zach. He does some insane shit, and there's much better sleuths than me. I mostly use it for like personal trading, and so you know I don't try and get into the weeds of, oh, he followed me back. What a Chad, dude, good trade. So I don't try and get into too much of the weeds on that stuff. But I guess 10:53. We've been live for a bit, which is pretty cool. I guess I'll do a Solana coin. You know, why not? Why not? Why not? Except there's nothing fucking running on Solana that isn't like, oh, PayAI ran, right? Like that was an X402. We can look into that one. No, this one's old as hell though. So in this case, I'll probably use like Dextriner to be like, I want to look for like insider buys or like, okay, well, that's probably a freaking, I'll just do this, like I'll just filter. Okay, so this dude bought the bottom. Who's he? What else does he hold? A little bit of other AI coins, but mostly just PayAI. That's pretty interesting. How active is he? 4 days ago. That's not very active for Solana, so it's a little bit more dormant. He only has 40 pages on 10 per page. It's 400 transactions, right? So this is something I'm going to look into because he's pretty dormant. Maybe he's worth a track. Looks like he sent himself a, yeah. So again, guess what we're going to do? We're going to go back to Arkham, Control V, PayAI whale, cool. Funded by Mayan Finance. Pretty sure Mayan Finance has an Explorer. Yes, I have a Berserk background. That's cool. Hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Do I sleuth on prediction markets? Yeah, I just did that early on the stream, Minty. Come on, man. Come on. So yeah, we saw it was funded by this Sui wallet, which is, I don't know why. Interesting, but this is, ew. Okay, so I have a Sui wallet. I mean, that's pretty cool, I guess. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that now. He's holding some meme coins on Sui, I guess, funded his Solana wallet and got into the trenches here. That's pretty cool. If I wanted to track his Sui wallet, which frankly I do not. But gonna go to counterparties. He doesn't have that many, which is pretty interesting. We can see the Sui inbound 6 months ago, so this came from that over here. I searched that up. But otherwise, looks like he might be using, I'm gonna look into this one. Okay, so he sent PayAI and Sol, looks like a seeding of a wallet over here. So that's pretty interesting. Looks like he sold, no, he's still holding. So he's got 100K more PayAI on another wallet, other than his 500K wallet. So he split up some supply. Pretty interesting. We were just on the 40, I believe, right? Yes. Okay, so I'm not gonna look into that one again. Send 2K USDC over here. I'll look into that. Any first funders? First funder was 4D. Okay. None of these are worth looking into. This might be a dead end, quite honestly, with you. Okay. Oh, we have a deposit. This is a singular deposit. Fuck. Okay, it's only a singular deposit, but you can see like the Solana process is pretty much the same. I think Arkham makes SolScan a lot easier. I like SolScan, quite frankly, like I do. Like it's pretty easy to navigate if you know what you're doing. But with SolScan, it can get more convoluted for sure, especially with the sheer amount of transactions on Solana. So I do like using Arkham for Solana a lot when I'm trying to sleuth and like break things down. But yeah, I think that's it for today, guys. Like I really appreciate if you tuned in. Hopefully you've learned a bit. Hopefully I wasn't too autistic, but I'm I'm gonna be doing this more. Like, quite honestly, I'm gonna try and come on whenever. I'll have more things signed on. I can show you guys more tools. I'll show off the Polymarket in silico terminal thing that my friend is building called Sharp Markets. I'm really excited about that. Show off that. Maybe I'll look into some. I'm hoping to try a bunch of like new protocols on the stream too. I don't want it to really be an interview stream anymore. I just want to like try new shit, maybe do some sleuthing, and maybe have some fun. But I appreciate if you tuned in. Hopefully you learned a bit. If you have any questions, my DMs are always open on Twitter at 0xLTR. You can DM me here. Should be a little button here. And I reply to anything genuine. So have a good one.